ओमज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं जनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदां सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनेति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणी। So we will not sing all the Guru Parampara mantra. We can offer our obeisances. These are all the great stalwarts in the line. Because of their lifelong service, we are here. They have given their every second of life, every breath of their life in the service to the Lord. So we offer our humble gratitude to them. Because of their service, we are here and we are taking the benefit. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Pyayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So I'd like to offer my obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas are like the desire trees. They can fulfill any and all desires. So I have a humble prayer that I can purify myself and glorify the Srimad Bhagavad-Gita. So today's topic is Chapter 2, verse number 14. I believe last time we read 2.30. That's right? 2.30. So we'll just go through the overview between the 30 to 14. So because it's we have 6:50 and we're gonna leave some time for discussion. So let me see. Okay. So the last time the verse was that the soul cannot be slain. Therefore we need not grieve for any living being. That's what the Lord told Arjuna. And then now Lord Sri Krishna has made a very good foundation, so far, that the soul is different from the body. Soul cannot be never destroyed, and body has no lasting endurance. Those two things are made very clear. And now he says that, my dear, you should, considering your specific duty as Kshatriya, you should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on the religious principles. And so there is no need for hesitation. So this is the, Krishna is telling, Arjuna has been all along telling that fighting is bad and killing is bad and I'm gonna get so many sins. Now Krishna is explaining that here, look at here, you are speaking dharma. Now I'm gonna explain you the real dharma. According to your varna and ashrama, you are a kshatriya, you are a king. That's your dharma. O Parth, happy are the kshatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planets. So forget about going to the hellish planets. Arjuna had that one of the main concern throughout the first chapter. He says, just you fight, you go to the heavenly planets. And so those two things. Then he says, if however you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties, and you will lose your reputation as a fighter. Right? So now there are all chances. If you don't fight, then you go to the hellish planets. And then you, what to speak of, you going to hell. You will live life over here like a hell. People will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death. Why do you want to experience such death? On one hand, you follow your duty and you be righteous and you enjoy and you go to heaven. The great generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only, and thus they will consider you insignificant. Don't you ever think that people will say, oh wow, how glorious you were, how generous he was, he could have killed the entire army and he gave us. No, they will think that you were such a coward, you were afraid of fighting, and that's why. So just think twice before giving up your dharma. Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you? He is telling indirectly, there is no way you will stop fighting. You will give up this, they will make you fight. Remember. Then he says, O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination, fight. So there is no, it's a very clear choice, right? Who would like to be, right? Why? Either way, you're going to get the heavenly planets. Whether you lose or whether you win. If you lose, you go to heaven. If you win, you will enjoy the earthly kingdom. Either way is good for you. Why would you not fight? So Krishna gives straightforward, direct, conclusive instruction. Get up with determination and fight. So now, after this, then anybody can think that, oh, fighting, but then what about me incurring the karma? Why wouldn't I get the reactions? And then Krishna is instantly saying that, so these are very highly evolved people are talking, Supreme Lord and his companion. So they are covering all the bases. So Krishna is saying instantly that, just not to incur the sins, not to get the reaction, fight for the sake of fighting, without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat. And by doing so, you will not incur sin. Basically, Krishna covered all the bases. Bhagavad-Gita is finished. Everybody should go home and have the prasadam now, right? Because it's Krishna convinced. It's all right. But then, Lord is telling the whole Bhagavad-Gita not for Arjuna. Arjuna is the eternal associate. What does he has to do with all those things? It's by Krishna's arrangement he is in this situation. So Krishna starts telling further that, thinking that now Arjuna is dilemma. Arjuna is in the dilemma. Why Arjuna is in the dilemma? Because I will have we covered all those things. Why fighting is better. Okay, we are still on this one here. Why not fighting is better. Krishna gave the conclusive instruction. In the 38, Krishna asked him to fight for the sake of fight and do it as an obligation. But then Arjuna has a doubt now. You know, in the verse number 19, Krishna told that, there's nobody gets slain and nobody is slain. Only people, ignorant people, think that way. So, like, listen to verse number 19 very quickly. Neither he who thinks they are a living entity, the slayer, nor he who thinks he is in slain, is in knowledge, for the slain self slays not, nor is slain. Means you don't do anything. You're not supposed to do, and when you are doing it, you are not the doer. So Krishna is indirectly telling that don't there is no need to do anything. Why? That, and then 37 he says fight. So this is where Arjuna's doubt starts building. In the beginning of 3rd chapter and again in chapter 5, Arjuna wants to make this clear. So Lord is now kind of shifting the gears. He is explaining that so far I have explained the analysis, the body and the soul, and your duty, and what is dharma and what is irreligion, and why you should fight and why you should not fight. But now I'm going to explain something called Buddhi Yoga. And Buddhi Yoga means yoga of intelligence. But Srila Prabhupada and all the acharyas, almost all the acharyas, they have interpreted Buddhi Yoga as the Bhakti Yoga, right? So, and we'll come to that also. So, this is where our actual work, in verse number 39, for the first time, Buddhi Yoga comes. So, Buddhi Yoga is being interpreted as the Bhakti. Right? Now, Bhakti has two glorious kind of attributes. Which are they? That Bhakti continues even after one is liberated from material existence. Whereas Karma, Jnana and Dhyana don't. As such, only when our heart becomes purified after doing the Karma Yoga, then we come to the platform of Bhakti. When our knowledge, through the process of knowledge, when we get the knowledge of the self, then we make the next step to the knowledge of the Supreme. And so when we have a knowledge of the self, that I am a soul, I'm a part and parcel of my Lord, then we engage into the Bhakti. Dhyana Yoga, when one achieves the perfection in meditation, then mature Bhakti manifests. Right? Karma, Jnana and Dhyana ultimately has to end in Bhakti. Otherwise, they have no permanent goal. We can go through the Bhagavatam, and Lord Brahma and all the great souls are saying that, Jnane, Prayas, we're going to stay focused. We want to finish in time. But then the Jnana without the Bhakti has no value. We can say that. But all of those things, actually, when they become perfect in Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Jnana Yoga, then we come to the stage of Bhakti. So that's the first glory. And second thing, Bhakti is independent and most generous. Independent and most generous. All the other processes, you need Bhakti, some Bhakti. Karma Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra, Yoga Mishra Bhakti. Bhakti doesn't have to have any of those things. We can perform the Bhakti independently. She extends herself to anyone, even those whose hearts are cultured with material desires. Cluttered. You can say cultured also, but whatever. Cluttered with the material desires. Bhakti there is no exception. Nobody is exempt. And we can simply have the entire class on that topic. Bhakti has no exception, no exemption. Srila Prabhupada, he has proved that once he was giving the initiation, and we all know the 4 regulatory principles, and one of the devotee who was supposed to get the initiation, he was supposed to take that, he was supposed to repeat the 4 vows that we repeat. We don't eat no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sex. Seems very easy to remember, right? And somebody who is chanting for some time and doing this, and you are going to speak in front of your Gurudev and for in front of all the assemblies, why would you forget? But then one devotee wasn't able to remember one particular vow. He would not remember somehow, he could not remember that no meat eating. And still Prabhupada asked him, what where what way what you are doing for the living? No, super soul in the heart. In I mean, Srila Prabhupada, had many times such experience. He will hit the right on the point. Nobody will know that. He will do boom, and then they will say, okay, no, I was a butcher. And Srila Prabhupada started crying. The mercy of the Lord Chaitanya. Where in our world can we see that? He was saying the person was, engaged in that activity, and so that's why bhakti extends herself to anyone, even though whose hearts are cluttered with material desires. So this is the kind of and actually through the bhakti, when we practice the bhakti, the jnana and vairagya automatically follow that. Jnana and vairagya. Bhakti comes to anybody, so we have that verse. Now, which is that verse? Okay, if somebody is strong enough, we have to, if this guy in the front, if he speaks all the verses, I need 4 people to take him out. What do they call? Bouncer. So what is this verse? 1.2.7. Okay, you can go ahead. Okay, see, so this is the, you are allowed to speak one verse. So
Okay,
see, I thought he will be out over here and I will be for the rest of the, I know there are so many other people, but I know how to take them out, one after the other. So what? Okay, no problem. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Cha Yadahetukam. So, by rendering devotional service unto the personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. The Jnana and Vairagya follows that automatically. They are the side products. They are not the main, they are not our goal, but they automatically come to that. So, the bhakti is so much. I remember one other there are so many such examples. We know the examples of Mrugari. Mrugari was there. The function of the bhakti, how does it comes to the people, whose hearts are even impure? Through the medium of Krishna's devotees. Krishna's devotees are such a powerful entities. They awaken the faith in our heart. This process is so much. If we don't see the devotees, we think, wow, it's only theoretical. It's not possible in this day and age. But when we see the devotees, they really see that this is real thing. This is this is a definite process. So, like Narad Muni, so that hunter who was killing the animals half dead. What an item, right? You want to kill it right away. Why would you make that animal suffer? You kill them half dead. Animal will bleed and in pain and agony, and finally he said. Then Narad Muni said, "What in a one? Nobody would first of all approach him, but Narad Muni somehow approached him, and then he asked him. He said, 'My dad, show me this art. Now, can you call this an art? Art of giving the pain. So I have learned from my dad, and he was so. First of all, he was thinking that how come this person has no fear, but he was very enthusiastic telling about his art. But Narad Muni kind of started crying. He said, "What is this?" And by his mercy, actually, he gave up it. He became a devotee, and by Narad Muni's blessing, actually, he was maintained by all the people, and he became such a devotee that he would care for even an insect, stepping on an insect. When second time Narad Muni came, they saw why even while stepping on an insect, he would be very careful. So that's the power of the devotees. Okay, now let's come back to the our today's verse. We discussed the glories of the bhakti, right? So we will read the first verse and then see what it is the verse here. Okay, so this is the today's verse. नेहा विक्रमनाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमपि यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्. Anybody would like to chant?
नेहा विक्रमनाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमप्यस्य
धर्मस्य
त्रायते महतो भयात्.
Everybody together. नेहा विक्रमनाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमपि यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्. What is the, how do we memorize or how do we remember? Repeat, reading again and again. There is no other magic. You have to read it again and again. So okay, who else would like to read? Anybody from the Mataji's younger one? Okay. Nandini? Or what's your name?
Diya.
Diya. Okay, Diya or Nandini? Anybody? Younger generation. Madhav.
नेहा विक्रमनाशोऽस्ति
Stay. Pratyavayo
न विद्यते
स्वल्पमपि यस्य धर्मस्य.
त्रायते महतो भयात्.
Everybody. Neha bhikramanashosti pratyavayo na vidyate svalpamapi yasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya. Okay, Matajis. Go ahead, Nandini. You can do that.
नेहा विक्रमनाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्.
Everybody. Neha bhikramanashosti pratyavayo na vidyate svalpamapi yasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya. We can do the whole class like that and it would be more fruitful. I know that. But okay. No, there is not, but then I will be again asked to repeat next week. So better let's do it now, right? Okay. No, there is not. Iha in this yoga, abhikramam in endeavoring, nashaha loss, asti there is, pratyavaya diminution. Na never vidyate there is su alpam a little, api although asya of this, dharmasya occupation, trayate releases mahata from very great, bhayat from danger. In this endeavor there is no loss or diminution. And a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Maharaj ki jai. Activity in Krishna consciousness or acting for the benefit of Krishna without expectation of sense gratification is the highest transcendental quality of work. Even a small beginning of such activity finds no impediment, nor can that small beginning be lost at any stage. Any work begun on the material plane has to be completed, otherwise the whole attempt becomes a failure. But any work begun in Krishna consciousness has a permanent effect even though not finished. The performer of such work is therefore not at a loss even if his work in Krishna consciousness is incomplete. One person done in Krishna consciousness bears permanent results, so that the next beginning is from the point of 2%, whereas in material activity without 100% success there is no profit. Ajamil performed his duty in some percentage of Krishna consciousness, but the result he enjoyed at the end was 100% by the grace of the Lord. Right? Out of all of you, who knows Ajamil? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Who doesn't know Ajamil? Okay. Okay. What's her name?
Monu.
Monil. Okay, very good. Anybody else? Okay, very nice. So Ajamil was a very sinful. Kyle, how about you? Do you know Ajamil? Do you know Ajamil? Okay, have you been exposed to? How did you end up here? I mean, have you been to some of our centers or some like that? You know how? So just tell us about yourself. How did you end up over here?
Um,
Who invited? I mean, or how did you know about us?
He came here through meetup.com.
Oh, okay. So please excuse me for our jargon. Like say when some medical person are speaking, that's called medical jargon. So this is the Hare Krishna jargon. So I should have been more kind of conscious about you. Don't hesitate to ask anything and everything. So Ajamil was a person who was a very kind of very well cultured in the beginning of his life. But some once upon a time he was passing through somewhere and he saw one man and one young girl and one young man doing romance in the public. They were kissing and whatnot. So he's become somewhat disturbed. He remembered somehow that scene in his mind. He didn't go. So when he went home, he somehow kept thinking about that girl. So he said, okay, now I mean, he was coming from a very highly cultured family. He had a wife and parents and everybody, but somehow he became so attracted to that girl. So he went to girl and bring her home. That was a street girl. So thinking that I had a much better companion now. So she said goodbye to the other one, and she said, okay, I'm gonna move with you. And then guess what? He gave up all kinds of religious activities, and he, because of her association or because of his kind of I mean do all this nonsense, he gave up all kind of regular work, you know kind of a cheating, stealing, killing, beating, all those things. That's how he started maintaining his family. And somehow by doing that, he had 10 children through that girl, and he became quite old, and he was 88 years old, and his youngest child was about 3 years old, 2 or 3 years old. So and at that time, like anybody, at certain time he was sick, and his final time came, and the messengers of the god of death, there's a person appointed to take away people's life and give them their final kind of how good and bad, whatever they done. So they appeared on the scene, and they look very horrible. They are very, very, very scary people. And as soon as they appeared, this guy screamed from his navel. What is this? I mean, then he screamed his son's name. His last son's name was Narayan. That is one of the name of Lord Vishnu. So he screamed, helplessly, and called, Narayan, save me, Narayan, Narayan. And then instantly, as soon as he said Lord Narayan's name, the four wonderful people appeared on the scene, and they actually kind of stopped the other three people, horrible looking people. They said, you can do this. This man is a very pious man. How could you really take him? And then argument started. But finally, these four people were so powerful, they couldn't do anything. Frustrated, those three people left, and they informed their boss that you are no longer boss. Why you are in the post? Better you resign. And then they said, what's going on? He said, tell me what's going on. He said, you are sending us, but you have no authority. Who is the real person who has the authority? And then they told the story. Hearing the name of Lord Narayan, the Yamaraj became so happy that, wow, my servants are making such a progress. They are chanting the Lord's name. And then he explained that anything and everything done, but somebody is chanting the holy name. You don't go over there. That's beyond our jurisdiction. I will lose the job. If you keep doing like this, what about you? I will get fired. So don't do for my sake, And then, just from the far away, say bye, goodbye, hello, how are you? Just change the road, Don't go in that direction. And that's the whole soul instruction is that the chanting of the holy name is so powerful. Even when somebody does unknowingly, somebody is doing it without the purpose, it has a lot more benefit, because it like a John 2 and John 3 and John Senior and Junior, but who is the real Narayan? There could be many more people named after Narayan, but Narayan thinks it's my name chanted. This verse actually tells about very little. So he's looking for an opportunity, that how can I help these people, So he's taking this on a very kind of a very little, on a face value. That's what it really appeals him, and that's why that's the message over here, that Ajamil performed even though he enjoyed at the end was 100%. He did a very little thing, very little. He was calling his son, but Krishna is so kind, and Krishna appeared at the moment by the grace of the Lord. So there is a nice verse in this connection in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Tyaktva sadharmam sharanambujam hare bhajan pakavo tapate tato yadi yatra kvava drabudam shikim kovarta apto bhajatam swadharmata abhudamushyam. Okay. One who has forsaken his material occupations to engage in the devotional service of the Lord may sometimes fall down while in an immature stage. Yet there is no danger of his being unsuccessful. On the other hand, a non-devotee, though fully engaged in occupational duties, does not gain anything. So this is the what is your intention, that's matter. Where is your heart? If your heart somehow is convinced to serve Krishna, that takes you far away, then you're doing everything else so perfectly. Or so they say, as the Christians say, what profiteth a man if he gain the whole world yet suffer the loss of his eternal soul? So material activities and their results end with the body, but work in Krishna consciousness carries a person again to Krishna consciousness. Even after the loss of the body, at least one is sure to have a chance in the next life of being born again as a human being, either in the family of a great cultured Brahmana or in a rich aristocratic family that will give one a further chance for elevation. That is the unique quality of work done in Krishna consciousness. So, we'll summarize this verse, very quickly. What is this verse is saying, that this verse has, there are three qualities of bhakti. Bhakti means taking the shelter of the Lord, the devotional service. That is called bhakti. So what are the glorification bhakti? There is no loss. There is no loss in any material activity. We do that. We have to do some hard work, right? Coming over here or anywhere we go, any work we start, we have to do some work. And if the work is not done, then we may have a loss also. But in the process of devotion, whatever you do is permanently secured on your name. You did some activity, it stays in your account. With the changing the bodies, everything what you have will be taken away. But a small step you have taken towards the service to Krishna would never be taken away. Then even if imperfectly performed, produces a result that is never lost under the influence of time. We talked about that whatever is achieved, it stays forever, and it saves one from the biggest danger, even with a very little practice. Now, I mean, this is all of we know that what is the biggest danger, right? Biggest danger, we can have so many dangers, but biggest danger is the yeah we can the death is the biggest threat, right? Loss of our loved one, or loss of our own life, where we lose everybody in a whole self, right? If we lose one by one piecemeal, that's also quite painful, right? That person you see all around, you lived with them, and then all of a sudden is not there. I was talking to a friend, and he had his father lost within a couple of hours, and was, I mean, that sudden death is good and bad, but like it's really it's so hard to overcome, you know. So the and what to speak of losing everyone at one time, and we don't know where we're gonna go and what's gonna happen. So that's, but it saves, a slightest practice can save us from the biggest danger, even with a very little practice. So this is the, I mean, we can talk so much on this one, but in the essence of types, we can just move further. We can analyze any ordinary work. It's troublesome to fulfill the ritualistic work according to scriptures. When we do the ritualistic work motivated by the desire to enjoy the fruits of labor, it's hard work. We have to that. Even if a small item is neglected, no desired results. If everything done correctly, resulting gain will be lost in time. And there is a possibility of unwanted reactions. We know that in a Vedic, sacrifices and all those things, vows and austerities, if you do some mistake, everything is, we know that instead of one mantra, there is one word is different, and you get the whole different result. I know a very funny story, but we don't have a time. But there was a I will tell anyhow, because because I don't have much to discuss anyhow. So let me tell. So there was a sage. He had a very, very beautiful wife, but she had one very bad quality. She will do exactly opposite whatever he will tell him. So now I don't know, this is the problem of the beautiful people or all wife, I don't know that, not, but somehow this was the problem. So this says, he asked his master, he says, you tell her exactly opposite than what you want to do, your life will be peaceful. So then he said, okay, this is good, that's why people have the gurus. So I'm just kind of gurus are here, are there to help us in any problem. So he said, okay, I'm gonna do that. So one of these days he had a shraddh for his father, and he told her everything that we have a shraddh, we are not going to do it. She said, no, we cannot do it. Then she said, okay, if you do it, invite some, whatever, some 2-3 nonsense people, anybody we can fit. I'm going to invite the most qualified Brahmana. And that's on, it went and everything was going so nice. And he was thanking his master that, what in a wonder, how did this happen? But then at the end, everything finished, and he said, okay, go and put this into the Tulsi Kyara. And then she said, oh wow, why gonna do that? I'm gonna put this into the dustbin. The final whatever comes. So she was supposed to, like in that, just made one mistake and the whole Shraddha ceremony failed. So this is something. Now, okay, which is the, before we go there, I think we're reading this one, right? Why Bhakti is so glorious, right? So before we try, because this is the devotion to the Lord is so glorious. When slightest attempt, slightest effort saves us from the biggest danger. So we should know that why. Why? So before we go for devotion, we should know the person whom we are worshipping. Let's talk about his glories. So the scriptures are full with his glories. The devotees, they speak non-stop, time immemorial. There is another expansion of the Lord. He actually has thousands of mouths. His every mouth is singing all the time. Whatever the one mouth says, the second mouth doesn't repeat. And all the time it's going on time immemorial, and still the glories never end. That's the kind of that's what. So that's about the Lord. And then I think I would like to share only one verse, not two verse. That this is the not this one. Okay, this one is the 10:14:7 here. So here now we don't have time to sing this verse, so we will not sing it. But Lord Brahma, this is the creator of this particular part of the universe. He is praising, he is singing the glories of the Lord. He said that in time, learned philosophers or scientists might be able to count all the atoms of the earth, the particles of snow, or perhaps even the shining molecules radiating from the sun, the stars and other luminaries. But among these learned men, who could possibly count the unlimited transcendental qualities possessed by you? The personality of Godhead who have descended onto the surface of the earth for the benefit of all living entities. Now, Kyle, there are too many new concepts for you, but like if there is a creator, he could come on the earth also, right? If you have so many businesses, you might like to go and visit them also. If you have so many houses, you might like to go and spend some time over there also. So why would not Supreme Lord would come and visit here? And for anything the great people do, that they do for the benefit of the everybody else. So he's coming over here is simply for the benefit of all living entities. So now we can all sing together. Gunatmaniste vigunan vimatum hitavatarna shakai shiresha kale nayeva vimita sukalpe Bupan Shavake Mihika Dubhasa. So, such person, there is another verse, but we'll skip right now then. So, now can we say person who has unlimited glories? What is the topmost glory of Krishna? So, now this time I didn't have much time, so I didn't ask much question. But I would like our younger generation to answer this. Krishna has unlimited glories. What is his topmost glories? So we can start from Vraja, Prahlada, Madhav, and Maulin, and Nandini, and everybody else. Okay. So who is gonna answer this? What is the topmost qualities of God? Kyle, you can try also. You can do better sometime. You don't hesitate. Anybody. What is the topmost quality of God? Okay, Mataji.
His mercy.
Okay, His mercy. Very more specific. See, she lived this for you guys so that you guys can do that. Don't you ever think that it's a transcendental arrangement. We have come with this already. So, okay, who would answer that? What is the topmost glories of Krishna? Yeah, he's a Bhakta Vatsal. Even Bhakta Vatsal means he is so much controlled by the love of his devotees. We can never think like that. When person they have more, they become more and more. We can never think that their servants would control him by by their love. So that's the topmost quality of Krishna, Bhakta Vatsalya. And I just listed 3 over here. The other verse I will say one after the other. But for the sake of the time, we wouldn't go for all of those verses. But Krishna is so much, he is. Now, Harinaman, this is which is this verse? 3.2.23, okay? Guys, okay, go ahead. Thank you, very nice.
No, this verse is easy to remember because this 3 to 23,
yeah,
they
reverse
3
to, and yeah. I think okay. Very nice. So this is we'll read this is the pastimes where when Krishna was five days old, the demon is one demon came to kill him, and she was a lady, so she came in a she became the most gorgeous lady, so nobody could ask her, nobody could stop her, and she had an intention to kill this baby when she had a poison on her breast. So the moments that it goes into someone's blood, somebody instantly dies. So when she had that plan, but for a second, when she did that, she said, "How sweet this boy is," you know. For a fraction of second, she developed that motherly affection, you know. So Krishna is saying that, you know, the devotees are saying that, "Alas, how shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he who granted the position of mother to a she demon, Putana," that's her name. Although she was unfaithful, and she prepared a deadly poison to be sucked from her breast. Even that person who came to kill Lord, he actually granted her the position of a mother in his eternal abode. She's a vintner. So who could be more merciful? Now he says so little service. She didn't do any service. For a moment she thought, if I could have such a child, you know, how sweet is this, how beautiful, how wonderful this boy is. For that one fraction of a second, she had that feeling, and it was rewarded. So this is a very famous verse. We'll all sing together. Aho bakiyam stanakalakutam jinga sayapa yayadapya sadvi lebhe gatim da trucitam tatonyam kam vadayalum sharanam vrajema kam vadayalum sharanam vrajema. So the similar verse is in the prayers of Lord Brahma also. He said that, "My dear Lord, what have you left for the devotees of Vrindavana, who has given everything for you? You know, you have actually given, my mind becomes bewildered just trying to think of what reward other than you could be found anywhere." Because why he's saying like that? Because you have given yourself so easily. You are the embodiment of all benedictions which you bestow upon these residents of the cowherd community of Vrindavan. You have already arranged to give yourself to Putana and her family. All her family you gave her. So what is more than you for the people in exchange for her disguising herself as a devotee? So what is left for you to give these devotees of Vrindavan, whose homes, wealth, friends, dear relations, bodies, children, and very lives and hearts are all dedicated only to you? You know, such a sweet glorification that, you know, you you give yourself to people who are just disguising. Now what would you give? So he's such a magnanimous. We can all sing this together. Isham go shanivasina mutavava kim devara tetina cheto vishvapala phalam tvadaparam kutrabhyayan moyati sadve shadiva putana pisakula tvameva deva pita yadharma tasuha priya matanaya pranashaya svatkrute. Okay. Usually after such prayers, then they say Nama Parvati Pate Hara Hara Mahadev. Means now we should serve the prasadam. But my clock is not working, so don't worry. So I'm okay. Huh? Okay. So there are some in the past experience. They have said at least look at the calendar. Don't forget. If you forget the clock, but look at the calendar. Okay. So we will skip the other one. The other is the pastimes from the. So I'm trying to prove a point that how Krishna is Bhakta Vatsal. He is actually completely surrender is to the love of his devotees. Anything and everything doesn't matter. People can him cheater, liars, whatever. He doesn't care about it. So far his devotees are glorified. So far his devotees are, he's taken care. He can take any kind of a name. So then in that verse past times we will talk about some other time. So now the question is that what is the best way to serve such loving Lord? We understand, we came to the one after the other, that how that slight devotion to the Lord, slight devotion to the God can save us from the biggest danger. And we know God as Krishna. He is the most attractive. That's his name and that's his quality. He is the most beautiful, most attractive, is the most loving person. So that's what we know. And even somebody does that, that really kind of saves them from the biggest danger. So what is the best way to serve the Lord? Okay, Harinaman, what is this verse now? See, he's so humble. He knows that, but he knows that until he's out, I will continue so having mercy on all of you. He just declared the inning. So that's the verse. This is the dialogue between Srila Sanatana Goswami and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There was a sage, Sanatana Goswami is one of the principal, I would say, principal student of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he had a terrible disease at some point in his life. And then Lord would come every day and give him the embrace. So and then he will feel so bad that I'm so fallen and my body is oozing with blood and pus. And the Lord comes and gives me the embrace, so what I should really kill myself. And he was thinking that what's the best time to kill. So there is a festival of chariot in the eastern part of India, and he said there's a big giant chariot, a chariot bigger than this wall. Actually it's about 18 feet or 20 feet long chariot, and there are millions of people are there. So that's the right time. I will be seeing the Lord, I'll be seeing the devotees, and I'll give my life under the chariot. So he was thinking like that. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the Krishna himself, he came before 500 years. So he knew the heart of his devotee. Then he said that, my dear Sanatan, if giving the life gets you the Krishna, I would give my hundreds of life. What is you shouldn't do that. To achieve the Krishna, your body is dedicated to service to Krishna. So your body is my body. You don't have no right. When you took the shelter, it's my property now. And then at that time, he is telling him that, this is a very nice dialogue. He explains, it again glorifies the devotion and so much. And then he said that finally he comes to the conclusion that, that out of, among the ways of executing devotional service, the 9 prescribed methods are the best. And for these processes have great potency to deliver Krishna and ecstatic love for him. He says, Bhajanera Madhya Shrestha Navavidha Bhakti Krishna Prema Krishna Rite Dhare Mahashakti. You guys are all supposed to sing with me. Okay? So now, okay, no problem. Next verse is the last verse. Okay, for the moment. Tara Madhya Sarvashrestha Nama Sankirtana Niraparadhe Nama Laile Paya Prema Dhana. What did it say? Tara Madhya Sarvashrestha Nama Sankirtana Niraparadhe Nama Laile Paya Prema Dhana. Of the 9 processes of devotional service, the most important is to always chant the holy name of the Lord. If one does so, avoiding the offenses, 10 kinds of offenses, one very easily obtains the most valuable thing in the world, love for God. Okay. So this is the kind of if this is the whole process, you know. So we just to summarize that this particular verse has been spoken right at the junction of Krishna telling them about the bhakti. Before he tells about the devotion, he's giving us the importance of bhakti. The importance of bhakti is, what is that? That very little done, we can get out of the biggest danger. Why would not we try it, right? And what is the best way to do the bhakti? Is chanting his holy name. And what are the holy names? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. So for my friends who are here for the first time, I'll tell the meaning of this mantra, because you heard this mantra at least 100 times since you are here, right? Hare Krishna and Ram. There are 3 words. So we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this mantra is actually, this mantra, here we can see, I wanted to show our friend. This one will be there, right? Wikipedia. We'll have the Wikipedia. Okay. So this is the mantra. This has 3 words: Hare, Krishna and Rama. So we are actually praying. Hare means the energy of the Lord, which is giving pleasure to the Supreme Lord. Right? If you look at this, the lady in the left side, her name is Hara. It's called Radha also. And the one with the flute is Krishna. So when we chant this mantra, we are addressing that, oh most merciful lady. She's full of compassion. So we are asking her, oh pleasure giving attention, oh pleasure giving energy of the Lord, oh Srimati Radharani. And the second one is a Krishna. Krishna is the all attractive. He's asking, oh Krishna, oh supremely attractive person. Why is so attractive? Because he loves us the most. So supreme lover. And the third word is the Rama. We can say Ram. You see that, right? Rama. You're able to see that? Rama. The third word. So Rama is the supreme enjoyer. Anyone who comes in his contact also enjoys. So we are praying the Lord that, my dear Krishna, O Srimati Radharani, O Lord Rama, O supremely attractive, O most merciful, and O supreme enjoyer, please engage me in your service. Right? We are not asking that, what can you do for me? What I need this and I need that. No. By your mercy, everything will come in a due course. But how can I serve you? That's the meaning of this mantra. So I will end over here. Please forgive me. I took, but there were so many verses, and I covered from 30 to 40 verses. So, but if any, we usually have leave some time for some questions. Okay. Yes, Mataji has one question. Okay, if somebody wants to have one comment, reflections, realizations, or questions, anything, only one.
I have a question.
Okay. Okay, people who are doing seva, they cannot ask any questions. They have to focus in their seva. See, I told you I'm gonna find out the way. So let's see if anybody else, because he is my teacher, So that's his kindness, that out of his kindness he comes to see that, did I improve anything or not? After so many years of his effort, did I make any improvement or not? But if anybody has any comment or question, please. Okay, Prabhu, what do you want to say?
So my understanding is that when we say Tritena Nobayadu, means that the greatest danger is taking birth as an animal, because then it's hard to fight now. But look at Baba Maharaj. He was on the platform of Baba, and you don't lose the percentage, but he lost the percentage. He wound up as a deer. So how do you understand that?
Okay, he has a very, very deep question. The question is that taking the shelter of Krishna, even slight, it saves us from the biggest danger. One of the great devotee, in his last moment, he was thinking about a deer and he achieved the next body of a deer. So he's saying that how did he degrade? Now, but even in the body of deer, he was fully conscious about Krishna. So that is not at all degraded. Because Lord Brahma prays that, let me be an insect, but be your devotee. I don't want to be Brahma. I don't want to be the supreme ruler. I want to be an insect, but your devotee. So it is not at all degradation. And if we have to give message to the mass, how do? We choose our own people. Like I have these people, they ask these questions and make this comment, and we give the message, right? So that's what the Lord does, that He selects His own people to give us the message to all of us. So I humbly disagree with you, my dear. There was only one question. We had only one question.
No, I can't let you get away with that.
That is my question. That's my question.
When he was on the process, on the path of God, he was doing so much devotional service. As a deer, he couldn't do that.
But he was still able to remember Krishna.
Right, but my point is, it says you don't lose the percent. But he's lost the percent. He was down to just hearing instead of all these other things.
So next time I would say that I lost. Simply I humbly surrender to you. You only can glorify on that topic. But to me it looks like that, thinking about Krishna in any form of life is the perfection. So even from that life he achieved the next body where he executed it so perfectly. But Prabhu, you can definitely shed the light on that one. Did you say anything?
You can shed light on your question.
Can you pass the microphone?
But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur does. And he explains that there's something like Prarabdha karma, even though Bharat didn't have any karma, but sometimes to increase the intensity of the desire, he'll apparently put the devotee in a difficult position.
Yes.
And then he goes on to say that Bharat's fall was completely arranged by the Lord to increase the intensity.
Yes. That's what we stated. Thank you so much. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much for tolerating me. Now, I hope